Good day, guys. It's your boy Crispy T with episode 28 of Calling of a Ravenous Bird. And this one is to do with, yes, a new public work that it will be seen in the future. And God wanted me to declare this. Now, what had happened is that He showed me quite a marvelous dreams of things to come, a marvelous dream, I should say. And I was not too sure whether to actually share this with the greater public or anything of the sort, because there were certain people that he assured me would be working on this new initiative and something to come, which is quite technologically advanced, even beyond measure right now. So I had shared this with one particular person who was involved with this, but and when he originally gave me this word was on the 15th of March of 2022, and then on the 10th of April 2022, just last week, or sorry, just this week, I should say, sorry, we're not quite into next week, he, God himself, wanted me to just share this and to declare this within the nation of South Africa. And it was through a dream while I was watching the news regarding Prasa and Sunral. Sorry, not Sunral. Transnet. I'm so sorry for it's the other entities, these parastatals, and it's the ones to do with the rail network infrastructure and the trains here in South Africa. So this had to do with the things that were going to come to work. And on the news, they were just showing the real challenging network as far as in the dream is concerned, as in the deficiencies that we have in the rail infrastructure in South Africa. And I was just watching this news with my mother, and all I kept saying was, "I know exactly what's going to help this situation. God showed me. God showed me. God showed me." And I was referring to the 15th of March, and I was like, God showed me exactly what's going to happen as far as the rail infrastructure in South Africa. And then to contrast that, I had a yeah, when the Holy Spirit intervened, declaring that I need to now integrate this with what Brother Francois de Vet from Changing Paradigms, the church, and he then said that I just need to, was as in God then said, I just need to integrate this, and I was in agreement with Francois de Vet in the whole dream, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to put this together in the article and also in this video so that and on the sorry in the video description box here on YouTube so that people can check that out. And this had to do with why this work and this public work that I'm going to describe now was not going to be done by this current government, that is not going to be done by the ANC because of the mass corruption. So if you can please just check out Brother Devet's video, the link is in the description box, from Changing Paradigms, and he'll describe exactly what he was what God had communicated to him in regards to the mass amount of looting and the mass amount of embezzlement that's just going on because of the ANC and this current government and everything of the sort, as to why it's not going to be possible, and what God wanted to declare, that it will be him, and it'll be him who will be the one to put this together. Because quite frankly, how would the infrastructure, as far as the public works and come together, if the money and the resources just to put this whole this project together is not there? So that's the challenge right now as to why the ANC would not be able to put it together. They've just not been proven to be faithful over little, so they will not prove to be faithful over much. And one reason why they had to go, just in a quick summary, but please do check out Brother David's video, and I'll get into what I had to now describe. And then this is what God then said to me, is that I had to now describe and tell you exactly what I saw. Okay, so this train. Now, in this dream, I was on this train, and God placed me on this train, and it was heading from Vereniging, right, in the Vaal, and it was designated to stop, or destined to stop, in the Johannesburg CBD. And the reason for this train, and it was also communicated in the street, was because of the servicing, firstly, of the students who just would not have the adequate transport and whatever to get to university or college and for their tertiary education, and had to travel all the way to Johannesburg. So that was the main reason for the train. But then the second thing was the safety issue, that the train was there to counteract the road accidents that would happen on the South African highways at the time. Because what I saw there is I was traveling in this train, so I got on into this train, okay. And then here's the marvelous works over here. Then the train had some sort of telecommunication device on each subset of the train. Like, let's say there's a passenger carriage, right? And the train is has its different subsets, and then each department, if you know how the train is, and each section had a communication device there over there on it, right? It looked like some sort of it was a telecommunication device. So it looked like some sort of old school telephone with some new features that looked like it had some this optic fiber and all that stuff, and how they set up those kind of things. And it was looking quite like a fancy contraption right over there. And it's stationed perfectly in each carriage. And here's what it did. So when the train was in motion, um, it had there was a safety check being done. So just to avoid collisions or anything, or any oncoming sort of um, yes, collision or an oncoming, let's say it was a barrier or anything of the sort, the train would fold itself, and it would fold itself either, like, the game of Tetris. It'll fold itself horizontally, or it could go back vertically again. And it was because of these telecommunication devices. So when the train was in motion, it would go and continue going forward, and then it would just be able to sort of, yeah, rotate itself in a strange way, where it's like a snake-like motion, and it's sort of quite synchronistic in the sense of how it's assembled itself. And then, yeah, and it never disassembled itself. It sort of kept itself very much intact and in place the whole time. So it was quite in a nice sequence. So it was a safety function. And while we're traveling on the R59, that's the highway heading towards the Vaal from Johannesburg, and goes past where I'm from in Alberton, and yeah, you get there, and then you start getting into the uh, sheesh, forgot what. Anyway, but basically where you conjunct with the other main highways in the N12, and so to speak, with reading interchange. There you go. With the reading interchange and the reading interchange and all that, and you then be able to divert and converge with other highways and byways there, as far as the road infrastructure in South Africa. But then the train was just moving forward, so I was just having a look on the highway side of things, and all I saw were these accidents happening on the road. So as we're traveling along and getting towards the M1, which is heading now directly into the CBD, and just when you're just about to go into the M1 North and everything, and you see everything over there, um, what you then saw was the accidents, as I said. And what they were then doing is that they looked at the train technology, and they were trying to introduce it to the road technology, so that they were trialing it, so that to avoid the fatalities that were on the road infrastructure. So it was quite an innovative invention, and something that was quite technologically advanced, and it's something that is going to be quite distinct and quite patented to South Africa. So it'll be something that originates right from here, and you're going to see it in the after it's successful in the rail side of things. As far as the trains are concerned, it's also going to be rolled out on the roads, so that the cars sort of can move into some sort of magnetic function, that if there's any sense of collisions or anything of the sort, that the cars in themselves can now move vertically in all times, so that everything now moves safely. so there's danger averted, and then it can just go back into its normal sequence, and things carry on like that. So they were trialing it on the roads, but it wasn't quite ready on for the roads as yet, and this is why it was not it was something that was still being trialed but not quite ready at the time, where the train was quite safe and effective and worked quite well. Now, here's where it gets quite interesting as well, as far as the train function and who it may belong to and everything of the sort. So when the train got into the CBD, right? So it accessed one of the big tertiary institutions where the station, right, as in where the train stopped, happened to be in the basement of one of the big tertiary institutions. Now, I know which one owns this, and it gave it a competitive edge over the other institution, which could only be accessed by road. So, without saying too much, I'll get into that when the when it all manifests and all comes together as to who it is. You'll see. It'll be quite obvious. And anyway, there's a little bit of a hint there, but I digress for now as far as that's concerned. So yes, it is going, and then on top of that, this institution that has the train station at its basement, at its also benefited hugely from the fact that there was other trade initiatives enabled by having this railway infrastructure. So, without saying too much and not saying very much here, there's a great things and a great work that God is trying to, well, is going to do it. You know, He never fails. So, I'm not going to say try is quite yeah, it's just not befitting. But He is going to do it. But then it'll only happen once the ANC and this current government is out the way. So a big youth benefit from this. And if you've seen what I've talked about as far as the formation of the last government here in South Africa before Christ's return. So yeah, there's wonderful works you're going to be seeing. You're going to be seeing some great things, despite the challenging times that we have here in South Africa. But yes, hopefully that is just covers it all. And do check out the article in case I missed anything, but that's about it. Otherwise, do keep in tune to this, keep in touch, and yeah, let me know your comments if anything sort of did not make sense, or if you want to know more about anything else, do feel free to hit me up. And please continue to pray for this ministry. And well, I know exactly doesn't have a name right now per se. It's just running under Crispy T as I was the music man, and yes, who got called into God's office. So it would be just quite nice if you can just give your support to the ministry, and shout out to the initiative. But thank you so much. If this has touched you and inspired and given hope, just remember that God is firmly in control despite everything else. And with that said, I'm concluding this. Cheers and bye bye, my beautiful people. Till next time.